live in 3, 2. Let's go, Sammy.
Hey guys, here we go on another Monday Live. It's been a hell of a week. Today for the Jews, it's the Holocaust Day, and we all sympathize what happened with the Holocaust, of course. So it's very religious to them, and so I wanted to do a shout out for them and a prayer for the people who lost their lives. I don't know how many million people lost their lives, Jews, in a very screwed up way.
Yeah.
6 million people, from what I understand now. I mean, and killed in such brutal ways was disgusting. But so I did my little shout out for them, and that's from my heart and soul. There's a lot of Jews that I knew. I liked them, neighbors, friends, and so this is a very important day for them.
Yeah. Well, you had a busy weekend last week and a busy weekend. You went to Barrett-Jackson. You met Craig Jackson. You sat with him in his box. Saw the cars come through. What'd you think? Did any Chevy Impalas come through there, Sammy?
There was so many cars. I mean, cars coming through every 3 seconds, and it brought me back in time. I saw all these Chevys and Buicks and stuff like that, real old ones, remodeled and stuff like that, and they go for a ton of money. And that was Amina just smashed
That was our
my
studio
couch.
manager.
Just smashed something.
Sorry. It is live, folks. Live and in person.
Live. She can't get away with that, bro.
She's like a baby gorilla, dude.
I
She
know,
just
she's
knocking
like an
shit
ape.
over.
I mean, if the strength. I don't understand the strength she's got, where she gets it from.
The peanut M&Ms.
Yeah.
Steady diet.
Someday I gotta check if there's a penis there, but she's too. She's
Obama.
Definitely too strong. Something's
Good for the
wrong.
Adam's apple.
Something don't make sense. I mean, she don't look like a guy. Don't get me wrong, but she's got too much strength.
Yeah, so Sammy took his whole team out to Barrett-Jackson. We had a great time, Sammy. Thank you.
The whole team went out, 5, 6 of us. We met people there. It was great. We had fun. I really had a blast, and it was really good. I really enjoyed it. And the guy, I went to him when he was going to do a selfie with me, and I spoke with him, and I said, "You know who I am?" He says, "Of course I do." And he's Barrett-Jackson. I mean, God knows how much money he has. Does shows all over the world. And I took a selfie with him, and now I'll bribe him.
Now you'll shake him down.
I'll show the picture around. You don't want me to show people the picture? Give me $5,000.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, that was a great time. We went to Inked, the Inked magazine people. They had their whole setup there. Sammy got on the motorcycle. It was amazing. It was a lot of fun. Did an interview there. It was good.
Yeah. Ink magazine was there. We're doing something with Ink magazine. We're going to be in their magazine. We did an interview with them. Today I have a meeting with them to see in a restaurant where we're going to film. And he had this gorgeous motorcycle there and a Harley, and I jumped on it. And with his permission, of course, I jumped on it and took some pictures with it and stuff like that. It was really, really good, really great, and had a great time.
That's good. Yes, and all the behind the scenes vlogs and videos are coming out on ourthing.tv as well as Patreon. So go sign up and you can watch like a day in the life of Sammy, all the work he does, who he meets, who he shakes hands with, all the selfies, just everything. You get a real candid look at his life, what it's like.
Oh yeah, it's confusing. I mean, a lot of people and stuff like that. So, but it was great, and people want selfies. No matter where I go now, a lot more than ever before. It feels good, and I love seeing people happy and stuff like that. We're getting great comments on a lot of things we're doing, so that's a good thing. Some of the cockroaches come out with some remarks every once in a while, but I disregard them. Bing,
just get the Raid
bing.
can out,
Yeah,
spray them a little bit.
Spray them a little bit.
Amen. And it was so funny too, because at the end of the evening, they're like, we're gonna go home and have dinner and this and that. And Sammy's like, nope, I gotta go home to Lily. I gotta see my Lily girl, let her out.
Yeah, I was beat. I got up early that morning. I got up really early, and I didn't take any naps, nothing. By the time we left there, we went to the Ocean Club. That's where we left our cars, and we piled into one car. It was such a madhouse. I mean, so packed. And I had to get back to Lily. I was gone too long.
Yeah.
From like, what time did we meet in the morning?
10, 11?
Yeah, it was early.
Yeah, something like that. And I didn't go home until, so it was like 10 hours I didn't see her. So
Yeah.
I knew she was waiting.
Yeah. You got to interview, also with Inked Magazine, in tandem with that, you're doing an interview with Sean McDowd, I hope I say his name right, we'll definitely put it in the chat, who is the drummer of Linkin Park, who was one of the owners of Club Tattoo, which is a big club, is a tattoo franchise here in Arizona. And you're going to sit down with him next Wednesday and talk about all things,
Yeah.
all kinds of things,
Matter of fact, they had a booth there, and they said, "Do you want a tattoo?" I said, "I got 8 million tattoos. I don't want to." So he said, "You just want me to, freshen them up?" I said, "Nope, no thanks." So
Maybe one for Lily.
my tattoo days are over.
Yeah. It was great. You got a lot of questions too about getting the tattoos and with the guitar strings and the prison and how.
Right.
I mean, how long it took you. I mean, they asked such great questions, so I can't wait to see the expanded interview.
Yeah. I can't wait to do the whole interview with the magazine people, and we're going to be in that magazine. I think the magazine is going to be great. They're really good. The people, the owners and everybody, really good people. So I met with some of their writers and producers, but the owners, I met the owner, real good people.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Sean McPeak's already on this. Linkin Park, Chester Bennington, his suicide and stuff. And you guys, we're not going to go down into those conspiracy theories and everything with Chester Bennington, but there is a great foundation that Sean is a part of that was set up, and we can also link that as well. But yeah, very sad. Taps right into mental health, Sammy, and the crisis that young men are going through in the world today.
Exactly.
A lot of pressure going on. Amina, how you doing over there?
I'm good.
You got any questions? You see, the voice changes. Hello. Good, doing good.
Hello, everyone. Apparently, I have I switched. This is my sexy voice, I guess. According to Sammy and Anna. Okay, first of all, let's give a couple of shout-outs. It's Mosier Boy's birthday. Can you say happy birthday to him? Mosier Boy.
Moshe Boy, happy birthday.
And then Sean is not feeling well. Sean McPeak is feeling ill. Can you wish him well?
Yeah, I wish you well. What's wrong, Sean?
He has a flu. He said he's been in bed for a few days.
Oh, when I went to the car show, I came home sneezing and whatever. I caught a little bit of a cold. Went to the doctor. I got a Z-Pack, and thank God I've been taking the Z-Pack for the past 2-3 days. I got one more day left, and I feel a lot better.
Okay.
So a lot of rest, Z-Pack if you can get it, some lemon and tea and stuff like that.
Ginger is good.
All right, ginger.
You guys all right.
Ginger is spicy.
All right.
What is going on?
I don't know. She went into like one of her sexy moods.
She went into like, pick up the phone. 999.
All right, super chat time. Okay, so we're going to get into last week's super chats. JB Weld wants to know, wasn't the mafia only Sicilians at first, and then they opened it up to everyone else?
Yeah, what it was in Sicily was invaded by many, many countries and people, and it started off as clans to protect their families, their wives, their kids, their stock, their chickens, their goats, stuff like that. They were peasants. And the clans eventually turned into mafia groups. And the men were called mafiosos. And they were highly respected by the people because they protected the people. That's how it started. And then it spread all over the country and then out of the country and then into some criminal aspects. But it wasn't a criminal thing. They were highly, highly respected when it was, because they fought for the people all the time.
Okay, J. Marie wanted to know, boss, was there ever an instance when someone disrespected the boss and was punished for it? And what are your thoughts about someone who does that?
Well, first of all, someone who does that, I think you know, a boss is in a very, very heavy position with hundreds of hit guys under him. You got to be out of your fucking mind if you think you're gonna disrespect the boss. It just don't happen. It's a stupidest move you could possibly do. You know, he's your man, and he has power over your life, always. So if you're disrespecting him, I think you lost your mind, and in most cases, you will die for it. And what was the other part of that question?
What are your thoughts about someone who does that?
Oh, well, I just told you what I think about somebody who does that. I think
were they punished for it?
so, in some cases, it depends on how you were abusive, what you said, what you did, you know. But you had to respect the boss. He's the father of the family. He's the boss, and he controls all the power. And there's so many guys under him who love him, and they wouldn't like the idea of you disrespecting him.
Okay, Mark wants to know, hey Sammy, I'm feeling disrespected by a family member. Any advice?
Kill him! No, listen. If you're disrespected by a family member, you know, that's the easiest place to be disrespected. They don't realize they think they have freedom of doing things and answering certain ways where people on the outside would probably never do that. You got to be patient with them. Everybody has their bad moves, their times where they get ridiculous. I do too. So sometimes be patient. Maybe it's just a guy in a bad mood for the day and everything is piled up on him, and then you do something and he just gets a little out of order, you know. But some of those things, you just got to let them go, and they're probably not even meant. If it's an all the time thing by that same person, then maybe you should walk away from the person, family member or not.
Okay. Next question is from Kenneth Sponberg. Did the commission approve the Anastasia and Carmine Galante hits?
In both cases, yes. Both of them came out of prison. Carmine Galante declared himself the boss. You can't do that. And he was threatening people. He was doing all kinds of crazy shit. He had to get hit. And everybody wanted him. The other one, it was, who's the other one?
Anastasia and then Carmine.
Anastasia was a complete whack job. He was killing people left and right, his own people. It was a pleasure to get rid of him. When they went to the commission, they said, yeah, this fucking guy's nuts. Get rid of him. So in both cases, yes, it was approved by the commissions, other families.
Okay, last question, and this is actually a good question for you. It's from Janet in PA.
Uh-oh, I'm on my guard, Janet. Go ahead. Go ahead, Janet. I'm on my guard.
She said, if prison tattoos are not allowed, how do you end up with so much ink? Where are the guards when this is going on? And they would obviously see it after the fact. So what happens when they discover it?
Well, most places, here's what you do. First of all, when you're getting the tattoo, you're in the room and you're getting a tattoo. There's a small little piece of glass. You could put a piece of paper up when you go into the bathroom. We would put a piece of paper up, number one. Number two, we would always have somebody on the outside. The guard is in the office. He's got an office on the first floor. We're on the second floor. So when he comes out and he starts doing his walk or something, the guy would come, bang on the thing. Oh, he's making a walk. We'd stop, take the paper down, sit down, make like we're watching TV. And that's cool. Number two, You're right, and not allowed. But what we would do is that cover up. When I got my tattoos, I would cover up all the time, real good, until they healed. Now, if they're healed, I could say I had them for years or whatever. They got smart to that, and what they did is they would take you out and take a picture of your whole body. So if you had a tattoo that wasn't in that picture, then you obviously did it in jail. And you couldn't get a shot, a little kick in the ass. It wasn't so major. It wasn't a major thing. Most guards didn't give two shits about it. Some unit managers cared, usually a dick, that he's taking pictures of your whole body and this and that and the other thing. But you hide it as much as humanly possible. Even if it's the summer, you wear long sleeve shirts, cover it up. And once it's healed, you walk around, nobody really cared too much. And if you did get caught, it's a slight punishment. You get a shot. You might lose a couple of days, good time, getting out. You get a shot. Let's say you lost 10 days. So the day you're supposed to get out, you lost 10 days. You're going to spend an extra 10 days in prison. No, and nobody gave a shit about that, especially if you're doing big time. But as long as you didn't overdo it, you can get away with it. I spent months, if not years. Both of my arms are tattooed. My back is tattooed. Good part of my chest is tattooed. But it didn't happen overnight. It happened over months and years.
Okay. Well, that's all for me. I am turning it back over to Anna so I can get back in the chat with all you lovely folks.
Hi, how you doing? Just kidding. Kenneth Spunberg has a good question about the book, The Five Families. Is it reliable and is it worth reading?
He did a lot of homework on that book. It was pretty good. He talks about a lot of things. He's a pretty good researcher. I have it myself. And yeah, it's pretty reliable. I mean, I can't talk for everybody who's in that book. He's got a ton of people. But I read about myself, and I read about John Gotti. I read about a lot of people who I knew. And he's pretty accurate, not all the time. Sometimes he's getting things out of the newspapers, and you know how the newspapers could screw things up. Mm-hmm. But he's pretty accurate with the book. He is.
Thank you. Chino, Florida, is asking if he can get a shout out for his brother George.
Brother George, shout out to you, bro.
Let's see. Sean McPeak, hope you feel better, brother. Chino's also saying, I'm finally getting to sit down and listen to Sammy. I am not working anymore. It sounds like he's retired.
Are you retired and you're listening to me? Good. Listen, you could live a long lifetime because my movies are going to come out. You could see them. There'll be a lot of things to look at. We're doing some things. We're really going to start working on a few things. It's a story about how I became a born-again Christian and why. I mean, I've been asked a lot of questions from the pastor and everybody like that. And we decided to do the story on why and how it happened. Number one. Number two, I'm bent on doing the history of the mafia, especially now that Trump has released files and stuff like that about the hit on JFK and Martin Luther King and Bobby Kennedy. I'm going to take some of that information. I'm going to do the history of the mafia. I do know a lot. I learned it from Tato. I learned it from people. I even learned it from the FBI after I cooperated, talking with them. And at one meeting, I did meet with the CIA. So, and they weren't happy about the meeting because, long story, but I do know a lot about it, and I want to do the history of the mafia. And I tapped back into my friend, my old friend, James Carroll, and we're talking. He's been busy, I've been busy, but we're talking about doing that together again. We created magic with our podcast. I have 627,000 subscribers now, and I got 129 million views on that. So we felt, let's get back together and do this History of the Mafia. So he was the producer, I believe, and the director on the show, and we worked together for a few years doing this. So we're talking about getting back together and doing it, and I hope that's sooner rather than later.
All right. Christopher is asking, when are you and Michael going to work together again?
Michael Cheeseburger?
Yeah.
We became good friends. We really have. We were down when we met with Patrick Bet-David. He went down with his family. I went down with my whole team. We were together there. We actually went up on the stage together. We talked to each other on occasion, and we're going to do something together, I'm sure, especially after I do my story about how I became a Christian. He's a Christian. He changed his life around. He changed it a little bit earlier than I did. He says he changed it in prison. I changed it last September. So I'm sure when I do that, he's going to want to talk to me. And maybe I could give him my blessings. I'm going to become his pastor. I think he won't accept that. But who knows?
Nice. Jonathan Diggs, Sammy, after the Johnny Keys hit, what happened to his crew? Was there any backlash from them, and did you run into them again?
I never ran into them. I never saw them again. I think they fell apart, broke up. I heard when I cooperated, they told me that one guy or maybe two guys in his crew cooperated with the government and told them about Johnny Keys and me, and it matched my story 100%. So that's all I cared about, and that's all the government cared about. And I don't know who it was who cooperated. I didn't know their names anyway, so it wouldn't matter to me if they told me their name or not. And so I think they mostly broke up.
All right. Anthony in the super chat is sending love from Buffalo. Did you know old-timer Genovese soldier Ciro Perone, who was in Matty the Horse's crew? If so, any good stories?
Yeah, I don't know him. I heard of his name. I don't know him personally. I knew Matty the Horse pretty good. I was in a couple of major sit-downs with him. Some major stuff. But I didn't know him personally. I knew of his name, and I heard that he was in Matty's crew, but I didn't know him personally.
JR has a question. Any advice for when you're burnt out from your current job but need the paycheck to survive?
Great question. You know, it comes a time I get turned, I have so much work. Now I feel like Donald Trump. I work 10, 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. I don't care if there's holidays. I'm always working. I mean, the girls come in at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. I'm up 5, 6. I let the dog out. I clean up. I do a few things. I'm making phone calls. I'm doing things. And I get burnt out myself. But the end result, you need that in your life. It's part of your life to do certain things, whether it's to feed your family, for your own strength. Sometimes, being bored and doing nothing is worse than working hard and being burnt out. So when you're burnt out, take a day off, go to the park, go to some place where I go to a park sometimes, there's a big pond with ducks and everything. I'll go sit there with a cup of coffee that I bought in Starbucks, smoke a cigar, and just chill. I get away from the phone, I shut it off, and then it's like magic. It'll come back. When you're getting burnt off, stop, take a break, and just do something else. But you need to probably need to have that as part of your life. Just think what it is without your life and becoming super bored. Now, I think what cured me about doing nothing is being in the ADX Supermax. I was alone 24 hours a day, nobody to talk to, it was the worst feeling in the world. So I guess I was always a workaholic, but I think that really made me a workaholic. I would much rather work hard and break my ass and be proud of something. At the end of the day, you're proud of what you did. Whether you're a carpenter, plumber, whatever you are in life, you're proud of something you did. Doing nothing doesn't make you proud of something. You're not proud of yourself. You know, you may like it for a little while, but it becomes very boring and you're not proud of yourself at the end of the day. So I know what it is, I know how it feels, and I sympathize with you, my friend. But without it, try it for a while. You'll see. You'll get back. You need it. You need it to be you. Unless you're doing something horrible that you don't like prison or some bullshit thing. And if it's a bullshit thing or job or you can't stand it no more, don't worry about it. Try something else. Try something else. I've done everything in my lifetime. I was a carpenter. I was a laborer. I worked on refinishing furniture. I opened up grocery stores. I opened up different businesses. I did everything in my life. But sitting and doing nothing was probably the worst time of everything in the long run.
Thank you, Sammy. Great advice. So true.
It is. It really is. I'm not trying to be cute or anything. It's just the way it is.
Francisco is asking, was Louis Electric DeChico related to Frankie DeChico?
Louis the Electric DeChico. I don't remember that name, Electric, who he was. He might have been related to him. I don't know if he had a cousin or a nephew or somebody named Louis. But more than likely not. I never heard of the name Louis the Electric.
He used to do installs back in the old neighborhood.
What?
But I'm just kidding. Next question. Electric. I was trying to be cute. Redman is asking, Sammy, last year I asked you about that time that Scarfo asked you to come out to Philadelphia in the middle of the night. I mentioned that it could have been possible that the Genovese family sent him to plant the seed in your head. Have you given that angle any more thought since then?
I remember the question a long time ago, my friend. I did give it question. I don't believe so. I was pretty close with Nicky Scarfo because when I took out Johnny Keys, he won the war. He never forgot that. When I had a guy named Frankie Steele, I had a hit, and I was coming back. There was other made guys. I called them up just to push the made guys out of it, make sure they weren't around this guy. And he took the guy out for me. We had a blood relationship, and we were pretty close. We didn't do a lot of physical work together, but we did work as far as the mafia is concerned. Every time he would come in through me. He was very, very comfortable. He knew I would never set him up or hurt him or do anything. So he was very comfortable coming through me. When John Gotti asked him to go to Joe Butch, he didn't like that. He didn't want to come through. He didn't do it. And he had a devious mind. And he thought maybe John Gotti was doing things without my knowledge, behind my back, and trying to weaken me by taking a boss away from coming in to me. And so I don't think anybody could have told him to come against me. I knew his nephew, Phil Leonetti. I heard about when he got made, when he became a captain. I even told Nicky he should be your underboss. He did make him his underboss. I was very close with Phil Leonetti in prison. I did time with him. So no, I never heard a bad word. One of the meetings he had was right in my house. My wife was moved out. She knew about it. My son, I was young, but he knew about it too. So he was comfortable having the meetings with John Gotti right in my house. No, I don't think that he would do anything to hurt me or to deceive me or anything like that. I think he was meaning well, and he was tough enough to say, if you're going to make a move, I got your back. And we had that kind of relationship. When I asked him the second time, when I had the problem, I was going after this guy, Frankie Steele, and he said, Sammy, I'll take care of this. We got blood on our hands together, me and you. I love you, bro. And I believe how he was very, he wasn't he wasn't a con artist. He was a tough bastard. He did too much work. So I don't think so. And, he called me at night. I went there at night. If the West Side, the Genovese family wanted to hurt me and get to him, he could have took me out in 2 minutes flat. We trusted each other. So I don't think that he was influenced by them to hurt me or to bullshit me.
All right, thank you, Sammy. Billy Ryan from OurThing.tv is asking, could you talk about the beef between the Gambinos and the Buffalino family over boxer Buddy McGirt and who he belonged to? Allegedly, you and Buffalino consigliere Eddie Sciandra had a walk and talk about this.
Yeah, we had more than a walk-in talk. We had a walk-in talk, but we had a battle right in a commission meeting when I talked about it. We had a couple of beefs about it. Buddy McGirt, they tried to snatch him up. He belonged to Jojo Carrazzo, Nicky Carrazzo's brother. There was a deal made years ago. They tried to snatch him up. I was one of the guys who sat down on that deal. And it turned out that he was with Jojo Carrazzo. We won the decision. He stayed with Jojo Carrazzo. And that was that whole beef, what it was about. Jojo Carrazzo had an agreement with him a long time ago. They came, tried to make an agreement with him. They didn't make an agreement with him. He was going to swing. No. Once he's with us, he stays with us. He lived with us, he dies with us. We weren't giving him up. Jojo didn't want to give him up. Nicky Carrazzo spoke to me and didn't want to give him up. And I wouldn't budge when we sat down. He belonged to us, period. Then people said I was lying or something like that. This didn't happen. It happened. The government knew about it. Both families knew about it. But that was the beef. That's what's happening. That's what we won the beef. And it wasn't with me. I was just representing Nicky Carrazzo and Jojo Carrazzo in this beef.
Nice. Your pal Jay Marie in the chat is asking, once casting begins for both the show and the movie, would you consider hiring only Italian actors for the main parts?
No. No. Matter of fact, there's a lot of English actors that are very, very good actors. They're all over the place. I don't know why, but they produce a lot of really great actors. Listen, actors could change their accent and stuff like that. They go to classes for stuff like that. As long as he or she could, I don't make that decision, but when they try out, if the people involved, I actually see it too. I make but Aaron Kaplan, that's his cup of tea. He shows it to me, I'll see it, I'll look at it, I'll give what my opinion is. But they've been in this business 10 times as long as I have been, and they know who to pick and who not to pick. And it's not just Aaron Kaplan, Terry Winter, Nick Pileggi. These people are legends. And I bow to them. They make those decisions. I could recommend people on occasion. I will, but I'll leave it to them to make the decision. All I'll do when I recommend somebody is open the door. Like I may tell Terry Winter, Joe Blow wants to come for that part. All right, let his agent get in touch with us, and he can do the test. They give him a script, he has to talk, he does the test. I don't make that decision, yes or no, over Terry or Nick or them. They make that decision. But you don't have to be Italian necessarily. You might have to look like an Italian a little bit, talk like, let's say in my case it's New York, Brooklyn accent. You'd have to be able to, you can't have an English accent, even if you're English. You'd have to know how to talk like a Brooklynite. So that's what I'm told, and I know that's the case. So no, you don't have to be Italian. You have to act like one.
Hey,
You know what I mean?
you talking to me?
Talking to me?
Well, it's a very. I'm learning that Brooklyn accent is very different from the other boroughs. Those accents, those dialects, Jersey. I mean, it's
Absolutely.
very particular.
Right. Even if you're Italian, the Brooklyn accent is like, it's an accent in its own class. Sometimes they go in and they overdo the accent. It's really not that heavy. It's heavy enough. Listen, I walk around Arizona, or I'll go to places, stores, and people, they'll recognize the accent right away. Where you from, New York? Yeah. Where, from Brooklyn? Yeah, I do that. So it's a distinct accent, how we talk, I guess. I don't look at it that way because I'm just used to it. And
Are you like, where's the arugula?
where's the arugula?
My blue heaven. Let's see. B. Borden wants to know, where did the name Rampers come from?
It was an existing gang before we had it. There was Rampa Seniors and Rampa Juniors. We became the Rampa Midgets, me, Jerry Papper, and Joe Vitale, and so many other guys. Tommy Snake, and so many other guys. So we inherited their name. Actually, the Rampers, before we were the Rampers, us, the young guys, we were the Black Panthers. We had jackets with a Black Panther on it. It didn't work out. And we bunked into the Rampers, and they started to like us, and they asked us to become part of them. They were a well-known gang. Above us, they were older than us and everything, and we joined them. We got rid of the Panther album, logo and everything, and we became the Rampers. That's how we became the Rampers.
Interesting. So you guys were you're saying you were called the Black Panthers.
Yeah, when we first started, we were the Black Panthers. It didn't last long. It stopped right away. It didn't last long. I don't know why, but it didn't last long.
Chino in Florida is asking, can Sammy please tell a story about when the neighborhood asked him for a favor, like when they asked him to run the older kids out of the playground?
I said this a lot of times. As a mafioso and being in the neighborhood, we felt it was our neighborhood. And everybody who lived in that neighborhood were our people. Now, we didn't want people bothering them or coming in. If they asked for favors, we gave it to them because we felt they belonged to us. A beautiful woman could be walking by. We didn't like guys hooting and howling at them or bothering them, because there's somebody's wife in the neighborhood, just like we wouldn't want it to be about our wife or daughters and whatever. So we try to keep the neighborhood straight. We wouldn't hoot and howl. You could get hoot and howl, a beautiful woman walking in front of a construction site or something else, but not in front of our clubs, stuff like that. We didn't really do that. And we took care of the neighborhood because we felt it was our neighborhood. And the people belonged there. You come in and bother them, no, you didn't have a place to do that. It wasn't, it would bother us. So we protected our neighborhood for those reasons, and we never know who's, I'd go to clubs all the time. I would bunk into somebody's daughter or somebody's son or something, not even knowing them, and somebody would say, whose son that is, whose daughter that is. So the neighborhood was us, our people, our neighbors, our friends, our relatives. It didn't matter if I knew the person. It could be Joe Blow knows that person, is that friend, or that's his daughter or something. So I'm respecting the whole neighborhood. That's my neighborhood. We don't want child molesters or rapists. We'll kill them. Other people, we don't want them bothered. Leave them alone.
Thank you, Sammy. I just ran over a question Italian guy. Sammy, please talk about Old Man Peruta from your book, Underboss. I thought it was great how much you respected him.
I not only respected him a lot, I loved him. He was very close to me. He was in Tato's crew originally, before I took over, and he was with me. But me and him, even when he was with Tato's crew, me and him were always super close and friends. And we always got along great. I know his whole family. They had a little Italian deli on Bath Avenue. I knew his wife. I knew his daughters. I still know his kids. So, and I'm still friendly with them. So, you know, listen, he's going to definitely be in the movie without a doubt. And you're going to see a lot of things with him because he was around me, was very, very close to me. I don't think there was a couple of guys in my crew that you couldn't give me a dirty look and they'd be at you. He's one of them. Stymie was one. Louis Melito, until we broke up, was like that too. I mean, my crew we were very close. We hung out a lot of times. We were always in trouble, so we couldn't go out to clubs. So we always was together. And like nights that other guys were going out with girls and going to clubs, we were hanging out in the club. And, you know, so.
Nice. Oh, Betty Ann is in the chat, and she's saying, wait a second, I missed the hootin' and the howlin'.
She missed the hoot.
Yeah, because she liked it. Like she's like, wait a second, I like the little, how you doing, sister? The guy's catcalling a little bit.
All right, you got a little bit of it. You had to flirt a little bit to get it, Betty Ann. You know, if you flirted a little bit, you got the hooting and howling, that's for sure.
Let's see how our TikTokers are doing over here. Any questions from the TikTokers, guys? G wants to know, can you, oh yeah, oh here we go, Little Donna. Sammy, tell me about your greatest lesson in life.
My greatest lesson in life. That is really, really a great question. There is so many lessons in life. I could probably rattle off 100 of them. The greatest one, I don't know, is to be yourself. Be open, be honest, be trustworthy to your friends, to your family, to your wife, even if you're cheating on her a little bit every now and then. That to us was normal, not bad, as long as you didn't hurt nobody by it. So those things, honor, respect, all of those things were very, very important to us and to me especially. It's till today, if I'm in business with somebody, you know, I don't go into business where a guy is rich and I want to rob him. I don't want to do that. I know business. I can make money on my own. I want to be honest. I want to be trustworthy, and I want to be a good partner in a relationship, whether it's with a woman or a business guy or whoever it may be. It's just that. What you are what you make yourself. You know, and you live with those reputations. And I think that escalated me in the mafia more than a lot of people think it's because I was a hit guy or a killer, whatever you want to call me. I believe that my being trustworthy with people really is what escalated me to a whole nother position. I sat down with other families, underbosses, concierges, bosses. People trusted my word when I came down. I was never going down to beat them, lie to them, bullshit them. We either made money together or whatever was theirs, whatever was mine. I never came up with bullshit stories and did things. I think that elevated my position in life. I know an agent named James, the fuck is his name? George Gabriel. Said it best. I saw him in an interview and he said Sammy was extremely close with a lot of different families it was a very powerful thing for John Gotti because my word was my bond, even though John Gotti didn't end up appreciating it, but the agents knew it. I was able to kill for him, but I was also able to negotiate for him and do things and get things done with other families. Even with families like the Lucchese family, Vic Musso, when Gas Pipe hated John Gotti, it always was me who had to go there and sit down with Gas Pipe and straighten things out. And there's an old story about a fence that was on somebody's property. The people in one house knew Gas Pipe and them. The other house knew John Gotti and them. And I sat down. Gas Pipe didn't want to budge to move the fence. And I said, come on, bro. You're the underboss. I'm the underboss. Are we going to do this fucking forever? I mean, come on. Let's do this. We chip in, me and you, chip in, move the fucking fence where it's supposed to be, and end it. Otherwise, come on, we got so many things to talk about. We're going to be talking about this fence. And we did it. I got it done. So getting things done is very important. And I don't give a fuck how tough you are. No matter how tough I think I was, Gas Pipe is a little bit tougher. Or just as tough. Maybe more crazy than I was. So being tough is not going to get shit done with Gas Pipe. It's how you react in your meetings with him and everybody else. I was talking a little earlier today. I sat down with 4, 5, 6 guys. It was so comfortable. We were all killers. Nobody was afraid of each other. Nobody bullshitted each other. And things get done. Business deals and bullshit like that. They weren't afraid of me. I wasn't afraid of them. And that's how things work in the mob. So.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Your TikTokers are a little bit of a younger demographic, a little bit of younger generation, the new ones coming up, learning about the Mafia, Cosa Nostra, and your life. And, we talk about sons and generations down and helping the back generations and where we learn all this tradition from and how strong the Italian families are. There was a TikToker that asked about the Trump family and that they're a family, but they're business. So it's family and mafia family, or family and business family. Someone asked that you think about Barron going up to Biden and Kamala and shaking their hands, and what do you think he told them? He said something to them, and then he looked back, and Biden's face just dropped.
I think that it was a classy move. Donald Trump raised his kids well. He did it in a classy way. He gone over, shook his hand. I believe he told him, this is just a belief of mine, good luck in your future life. And it threw Biden, you could see the expression on his face, it threw him for a fucking loop. After everything Biden did to his father and his family, the kid was classy enough to walk over, shake his hand, and say, good luck in your future. And then he looked back at him. Now, he probably would have liked to smack him right in the fucking face, but he didn't act like that. He acted like a fucking man. And that I give to Trump is tremendous training with his kids. All of his kids, his daughter, all the kids are classy, one after the other. Grandchildren, every single one of them. That says something to me about Trump, what Trump really is, behind closed doors, in his personal life. His kids are all classy, well-talked, well-trained, well-mannered. I mean, great kids. And that's, hats off to Trump with that as well. So you see more and more signs about Trump. He loves to joke and play. He talks a little crazy. People hated him. I don't know why they have this kind of a hate for Trump. Why? Because he's outspoken about things. But generally, he's almost always right. I don't agree with anybody all the time, but I think there's very few things I disagree with him. Look what he just did. He's lived up to his promises. 800,000 people working as, mostly women, by the way, waitresses, all these jobs. He just took it away right off the thing, no more taxes on tips. That's a tremendous move for hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people right across the country. When he went down to California, he went to North Carolina, I think it was, first, that they didn't really, people still in sleeping bags.
Yeah.
And he immediately said, put them in hotels. I don't care if we pay for it. Put them in hotels. That's no act with this guy. He's done this all his life. Now, there's things you probably don't like about him, and that goes with everybody. There's things I don't like about myself. So everybody could have that opinion, but look at the overall with him. Then he went straight over to California. Then he went straight over to Vegas, and they gave them everything he promised and everything he's doing. He's a class guy in a different way than most. You think classy, he's got to wear this and he's got to act this way. No, but he's a class guy. Every move he makes is a classy fucking move. Baron, hats off to the kid.
Yeah.
I think he's growing up to be a man's man, like his dad, and maybe even classier. Who knows? We'll see down the road.
You're getting a lot of comments in the chat about your kids, about how great Gerard was on the Sons of Ecstasy and how well-spoken Karen is and all the things that she does.
My kids as well. My kids are classy. They're a little on the tough side. I mean, growing up with me, but they're tough in a good way. Mm-hmm. They're good people. They have friends on top of friends on top of friends on top of friends who have been there for years and years and years and years. You don't get that by accident. My son has learned not to fuck his friends, not to do this, not to do that, and he lives it to the T. My daughter too. I'll give you Ramona. Ramona and her are like glue for 100 years. Of course, I'm exaggerating with the 100 years, but that's something learned through me, through my wife, through my family, through my mother, my father, their grandmothers, grandfathers. So really, it's a beautiful thing when you do these things. This is why I was telling the guy before when he was a little bored. It's a beautiful thing when you can have that. You know, money we can make, you don't take it with you when you die. You don't take money, cars, jewelry, clothes. You don't take those things. You get a fucking cheap shit-ass suit laying in the coffin, but you take love. People will be crying. They'll miss you. They'll love you. That's important in life. And I don't know why I'm went into this little tangent.
You know, I think it's something in the air, Sammy, with this big transition that's happening in the world. We're seeing it every day. We're being briefed on it every day. All the craziness going on between the deportations in Colombia and it's everywhere. We're oversaturated. Even our pop stars, even these young people are talking about it all the time. And I think now more than ever, people are really waking up in a good way that family is number one, to be, you know, human beings and treat each other right and be safe and protect each other is where it's at.
Absolutely, totally. That's exactly the way it's at. And I felt as I got older and I became a born-again Christian, I felt it was a perfect fit for me. I don't tell people, go be one, you have to be one. I don't do all of that. I told the pastor, I'm not a pastor, I'm not gonna go out telling people. I'm telling people to love. And born-again Christian, this is something I was born and raised as a Catholic. But this, born-again Christian hit me like a ton of bricks. It was like God came down and said, this is it, kid. Do this for the rest of your time you got left. This is where you belong. and I think I feel really belong here. I'm going to do a whole video about it, like I said, how I got to this point. And everybody, you know, in our country, all the people, I want Trump to do everything because we deserve it. We're good people in general. I'm glad they're getting rid of people, 1,000, 2,000 people a day. They're getting rid of them. Fuck them. Listen, we can be compassionate to an extent, but we have to be, they come here the right way. What he's doing now is perfect. Picture perfect. There's people complaining about it. The Democrats are still fighting him in different things, positions, and he's got great people. Let them in. Let him run this country. I'll guarantee you in 4 years, I could feel it. I could see it. I could hear it, but I feel it. In 4 years, we're not going to recognize this country. We're going to miss him like there's no tomorrow. Back him, go forward with it, and let him make all the moves in the world. And we'll see a bad move. They'll tell him no or whatever it is, but I think all his moves are pretty good moves. And like I said a long time ago, I think he's out there for his legacy. He wants his legacy because he's my age, he's up in age. And he knows when he dies, he's not going to live that much longer, 5, 8, 10 years, whatever. He wants to change his legacy and leave it. Sounds like I'm talking to myself in the mirror. That's what I want. I want to change my legacy. I don't want to be noted. I want the truth to come out about me. I don't want to hide nothing. That's why in these movies that I'm talking with all these heavyweights, I want the truth.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Now, sometimes I'm not going to like it. Sometimes I'm going to cringe. But let the truth come out. What I am, what I did, cooperated, born again Christian, the whole thing. Put it out. Do it.
Right. And I did see, I'm a Christian. I've been a Christian after I left the Catholic faith. I'm a Catholic little c, but I'm a Christian. And I see a huge revival, a huge movement, a huge surge in purchasing of Bibles. That's what I'm saying. I feel like right now is the veil is the thinnest, and the battle between good and evil is so overt in our faces. If you haven't figured it out by now, all I can do is pray for you. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's where it's at right now in the world.
It's the truth. I don't know how people don't see this. It's clear as a bell to be. Maybe as a gangster, I've been through it, been part of it. I see it crystal clear. And I'm not going to belittle gangsters, because gangsters are above what these people are in politics who are doing certain things. I watched the thing on the shots today. The shots have killed so many people. They'll call me an animal. Millions of fucking people. I watched the program today. People who took the shots, it hurt their immune system. So you caught something else and died of it. It's the shot that ruined your immune system, that you couldn't withstand this virus or cold or whatever it may be, cancer. And that's what's happening now. How do they live with themselves? Look what he does. He gives pardons to Fauci.
Preemptive pardons. He hadn't even done
Preemptive pardons. They ain't even arrested yet. But preemptive pardons for Fauci. Fauci, God knows how many people he's responsible for killing. Now, he's an Italian guy. So, and I can't stomach him because he's an Italian. Even worse. I wish he was another nationality, but he's not. He's Italian. Greedy scumbag who didn't care how many people. It's not a beef for an argument or a mafia thing. They're on a different level. He's on a different level. He did it for greed, money, period. And he hates everybody. Black, white, Hispanic, Italian, Irish, Greek, no matter what religion. Give them the shot so he could earn. I can't get it. I can't get it. And if you don't see this, and then Biden gives all these pardons. Now, a lot of pardons are due. I think I want to get a pardon myself. But he gave people who've done the most disgusting crimes in the world, and I don't think murder is the most disgusting. I'd rather sit with mafiosos, ex-mafiosos, or live mafiosos right now, and killers, than him. I can't sit with him. I can't sit with some of the Democrats or what they did, the Biden family. That's treason.
Yeah.
I was in the military. Treason is one of the worst crimes that you sold out your whole fucking country for money. I don't know. No, I don't know a gangster who did that, who was willing to do that. You couldn't. I don't know of a gangster. Believe me, I knew some tough gangsters, some badass gangsters who lost their mind, but they wouldn't do that. They wouldn't do that. So I don't want to smudge a gangster's name in comparison to them. I don't even want to call them gangsters.
Yeah.
They're lowlifes. Trump is a gangster.
Yeah. Yeah. You're getting a lot of support in the chat. Your community backs you 100%. There's just a lot of love and a lot of support about everything you're saying.
Well, that's what I got right now. A lot of love, and I like to push it around. Betty Ann, don't be calling me up over here.
Can you give another birthday shout out real quick?
Yes.
So Mosier Boy says that it's his father-in-law's birthday this past weekend. His name is Jerry, and he's actually sitting with him right now watching you.
Jerry, happy birthday, bro. Your son-in-law's a good man. He's a friend of mine. Behave. Don't bother him.
Awesome. Great live today, Sammy. Got a lot of work to do.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we do. Okay, guys, I'm going to have to wrap it up. I hear banging. I think that's my son finally getting there. Oh, as soon as I'm done working. All right, guys. I love you guys. I really, really do. And hopefully, when I do these shows, I'm going to be talking and I'm going to push it out and I'm going to give you special attentions. And when I do my movie and I get that, what do you call that when you go on the red carpet and you just get there? Yeah, my premiere. I wonder if I could get tickets to invite all of them to the premiere.
You never know. You could do a screening, or we'll figure it out.
Yeah, we're gonna figure things out, and I'm gonna share a lot of things with you, actors, actresses. I'm gonna do some things on my show, or probably on Patreon, where I have actors who are working. They're working for me. They got no choice, bro. They're gonna come in and do interviews with me and talk to you guys. So I think you're gonna love that.
It's in your contract. Where?
Yeah, come with me, baby. Over here. Do this interview. All right, guys. Love you. Bye-bye.